A number of new information was shared by Elon Musk that really matters for Tesla investors. Today, we'll watch the video clips of what he announced. First, Elon said in the next month or two, Tesla will allow you to text while using full self-driving. Tesla shared new data showing that FSD is nearly at 5 million miles between accidents. Second, he put to bed this debate of whether Tesla will need to sell Cybercabs with steering wheels. Elon said he expects that all Cybercabs produced will not be limited by regulatory approval. This means there's no need to sell drivable Cybercabs despite the insane production ramp. In massive news, he also announced that Cybercab is starting production in April and that they expect China to approve full FSD in February or March. Third, in a major surprise, Elon announced Tesla will be building its own massive chip fabrication facility. Calling it a Terra Fab, Tesla will be aiming to make 1 billion chips per year. This sets up a brand new multi-trillion-dollar business for Tesla as they help SpaceX build space AI data centers. Today, we've got Larry Goldberg with us. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's been an active venture capital investor for the last decade. He's got a new venture called Lumicenti.com. Go check that out. Welcome, Larry.
How are you, Herbert?
Great. You and I met at the big event. I'm a little tired still. I know you're traveling back home.
Yeah.
It's incredible that you crossed the country, but always on vehicle.
Yep. I'm done with flying. No more flying.
Well, FSD, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, my aircraft is a Tesla Cybercab.
Love it. Soon a Cybercab. Okay, so let's start with, we're going to watch the little clips here. And the first one is Elon saying that in the next month or two, Tesla will allow you to text while you're using FSD. Next month or two.
And actually, right now, the versions, the car's a little strict about keeping your eyes on the road. But I'm confident that in the next month or two, we're going to look closely at the safety statistics, but we will allow you to text and drive, essentially. Yeah. So, yeah.
So do you think that that's even possible, Larry? Like, take a look at this. This is another data set that they did share. 85% less crashes, 35,000 less fatalities, 2 million less injuries, because look at this new number here, November 2025.
Less fatalities. 35,000 less fatalities.
Less fatalities, yeah. 4.92 million miles driven between accidents. That's their latest data. And that blue is FSD. This isn't just, they used to call it autopilot, so we didn't know. Did you see this data? Do you think that they could achieve this milestone?
Yeah, I'm certain they can. I'm absolutely certain. I mean, I'm on my 4,500th mile since leaving home last week, or I guess, this week. I don't think I've touched the steering wheel. I mean, I know I haven't touched the steering wheel. And by the way, I text all the time because it's all by voice. I can text while I drive. So it'll be nice not to have to focus your eyes on the road all the time. Actually, I've got a kind of little workaround, but I won't tell anybody.
You went from North Carolina to
Cary, North
Texas?
Carolina, all the way to Austin. And then I did go via McGregor. I wanted to see the Raptor being fired, and I wanted to see how McGregor had evolved. So I did stop in McGregor on the way, and then went, I spent a few days in Austin with my good friends from Capital Factory and some of our investments there. And then, we attended the meeting. It was, what a fun meeting. What a great time everybody had. And, how gracious all our hosts were. Everybody in the factory were, keen to say hello, keen to befriend us. It was really wonderful.
Yeah.
Great
I was just saying that if you had videotaped all this, you could have already just said basically FSD crosses the country, a little bit if you had gone to
I'm a
California.
that's a lot of work. I'm
Not gonna do
retired.
that. You're still doing this with me, so you're not retired. Okay, let's watch the
Well,
next
I
big.
mean, I'm retired because this is unpaid work.
Sure. All right, let's listen to what he next said. Waymo and the cybercabs being deployed. This is good information that he said here.
Cabs being produced, or are you guys confident that every Cybercab you guys make, you'll be able to deploy?
Yeah, I think the rate at which we receive regulatory approval will roughly match the rate of Cybercab production. It'll be maybe a little tight, but it's about right. And I'd like to thank Waymo for paving the path here. It's very helpful. Yeah, but I think we'll be able to deploy all the Cybercabs that we produce. And the other thing is, like, once it becomes like extremely normal in cities, it's just going to become like the regulators will have just fewer and fewer reasons to say no. And then you've got this, you've got the accident statistics at scale, and you can show that autonomous miles save lives. And you've got unequivocal, billions of miles to prove it. Then I think it's hard for regulators to say no. Yeah, true.
So that is very confident. So a couple things, right? He said that we're going to produce as many Cybercabs, and we'll talk about this. Production starts in April. Massive numbers expected. He said regulation will keep up with it, he thinks. And so there's no need to create drivable. Did he put that to bed? The steering wheel possibly showing up?
Yeah, I had lunch with Farzad. We did some taping of the Maverick Mine over the week. I think it was yesterday, or the day before, actually. But Farzad doesn't think that the market or the regulators will be able to swallow the volume of cybercabs given the production ramp. And he thinks they're going to have to throw steering wheels in there. So he's still sticking to it. And we had a little bit there. And so we'll see. I mean, Brad Ferguson was there to report it. So we'll see who wins.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear at this point that is intention. And then, we just showed you the statistics, and he explained why he thinks regulation won't delay it. Okay. And then the next one was well, actually, the next one I should say is that he also said that FSD approval in China, February or March 2026. That is good news. I mean, obviously, they've already had partial FSD, but now it's full FSD. What's your thinking about that statement and that milestone?
I really do hope that they start producing the Cybercab in China. I think it's going to be an incredible seller in China, just an outstanding seller in China. I think it may take a little while for it to get down there, but man, what a great vehicle for China. What a great vehicle for Europe. I mean, if Europe would get off their backsides. Yeah, them entering the Chinese market with FSD approval would be an awesome result, and it's in China's interest to really pressure the Chinese developers to come up with their own FSD to compete, which is how they use Tesla right at the out of the gate. So it'll be good for Tesla, it'll be good for China, it'll be good for China developers as well, but it'll definitely drive volume, huge volume, particularly if they get the Cybercab there.
So if China approves this, right, I think it's a domino effect, right? So number one, the U.S. cannot not let, we're going to say no, but China's going to say yes. That's going to put pressure. But secondly,
I'm not worried about the bureaucracy, at least until, 2028, the end of 2028. And I think between now and the end of 2028, there's enough run room to get this done. So I'm pretty positive about the regulatory approvals. I'm just, I think there's going to be, and I don't think the production ramp is going to be that stratospheric in the first 6 to 8 months while they get the kinks sorted out. So I think, I know Elon may have a tendency to exaggerate a little bit in timescales, but I think this time is going to be right. That's what I'm thinking.
So let's talk about that, because Cybercab production, first of all, this part is production starting in April. That was initially they were saying second quarter. Now they said April. And then you guys
April's the second quarter.
Yeah, but at least they said, a month, April, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys saw that Cybercab is in production in the factory tour, pieces of it. They showed that. But here it says sub 10-second cycle time. And so some people were thinking that they actually said, we'll start with one car produced every 10 seconds.
He's wrong. He's wrong.
Yeah,
absolutely wrong. So
okay.
I have reason to say that that's not their expectation. So, I spoke with some folks. I can't really discuss the conversations, but the production rate is going to have to ramp over time. This is such a huge change. I don't know if everybody saw Brad Ferguson's post on Thursday, but he posted the components of the production
unbox model.
The box model, and it's a huge change. I mean, I learned some of the technical details of what it involves, and everything's different about this car. It's a completely different motor. They developed a brand new motor for this. We saw the motor. It's kind of the next level. It is a completely different method of construction, completely different materials in the construction, completely different wiring harness and method of wiring. There is nothing in this car that looks remotely, from a production perspective, like anything that came before it. Other than the battery itself uses, pretty standard Tesla construction, but everything else is different. So to say that they're going to come out of the gate at 10,
I didn't think so.
It's not going to happen. If they get 10 a day in the first couple of weeks, that will be good, and then definitely ramp up from there. But the ramp is not going to be overnight.
Yeah. I mean, just to remind everybody, Giga Shanghai is one of the best factories in the world producing vehicles, and the Model Y there, I think they're doing it now at 35 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, this construction, the plan is to get down to sub 10 seconds, by the way.
Right.
Quite a bit sub 10 seconds ultimately, but you're not going to start at 10 seconds. And
yeah, I didn't think so either.
That's it.
Let's listen to what he said about the Cybercab.
It's getting better and better. And that 4680 cell will be used in the Cybercab. It is being used in the Cybertruck and will be used in the Cybercab and also in Optimus. So that's going well. But we continue, obviously, to get cells from many suppliers. It's kind of like the chip fab thing. We'll take as many chips as our suppliers can provide us, but then beyond that, if they can't provide us with any...
Yeah. So that was actually about the 4680 cells. Do you know much about that? Yeah.
Yeah, well, he didn't give us very much detail on the 4680. And so, I think they continue to ramp. He did say that if he wished he hadn't gone the dry cell route. In retrospect, it set them back too far, and that they probably should have avoided that, as their principal strategy at the outset. It's classic for Tesla. They push the frontier, and sometimes the frontier blocks them. So,
physics-wise, yeah. Okay, and I love that they can take something and then use it for multiple products. Yeah. Unfortunately, that one didn't work. So, okay, big news, of course. Sure, we were all surprised when Elon announced that they might be building their own massive chip fabrication facility. He called it a Terra Fab. Let's watch what this is.
But it's probably worth having discussions with Intel. But even when we extrapolate the best case scenario for chip production from our suppliers, it's still not enough. So I think we may have to do a Tesla Terra Fab. So it's like Giga, but way bigger. I can't see any other way to get to the volume of chips that we're looking for. So I think we're probably going to have to build a gigantic chip fab. Yeah.
I mean, that's just crazy that he even considered that. So this is what he was, they were saying, 100,000 wafers per month for a Tesla Terra chip fab, one of 10 wafer lines in complex, 1 million wafers per month. I think they're going to make eventually 1 billion chips per year. Wow. So, a lot of people are saying they did not expect Tesla to do this because it's low margins, very difficult. You have to have these suits, bunny suits and all that.
Well, the bunny suits, they have to create their own atmosphere at pressure. They have to have ultra clean air. They have to build it on rock solid base. It can't move, but you can't have the air has to be 100% filtered. The building has to be isolated from the movement of the earth. There is just so much to talk about, and the quality of the air. There is so much in a chip fab. So, during the pandemic, there was this chip shortage, and everybody said, "Oh, we should build a chip fab." And I said, "No way." For the chips that we were having a shortage of, we really don't need a chip fab. If you're going to do chips, you have to do the high-end chips, not the, supply chain chips for the, for the processors, for the average, car processor, which they're sometimes 100, processors in the car. But what Elon's talking about is the highest end and higher end. Sub 2 nanometers gap. They're down to 1.6 nanometers now. He's probably looking at some pretty out there technology. That's going to make our 40 billion cash hoard look like, small change. We are talking in the 100 billion range. And so the question is, to me, not should we do it. Clearly we have to do it, because clearly he's, designing a very, very specific chip for their use. He wants to take it to space. That means a whole lot of different things about how you actually go about packaging it, and just a whole lot of other stuff. So yeah, I would support that. But it's the most interesting question about that is, who owns the fab? You're going to have to do a partnership between XAI, SpaceX, and Tesla in that fab.
Yeah.
And so this calls into question the corporate structure and how you plan for it. So the planning has to start now. Fabs don't get built overnight. They take time. And if you want to build a fab for, what you're talking about, man, you got to start now. And maybe the best is to partner with some of the fab owners right now. And so one way is to look at Intel and look at, maybe rejiggering Intel. There's just so much that goes into it. But you can see his mind is right ahead of all of these issues. And so, he'll find the solution and he'll figure it out. All I'm telling you is, thank God we didn't use any of the cash.
40 billion is like nothing to his dreams of what he's going to do now, right?
Yeah.
And you were 2 years ago when you were saying this and banging the table saying no, and everybody was going, let's buy back, let's dividends, let's.
Yeah, it'll goose the share price. Come on.
We got bigger things to fry. So what's so cool is that he's talking about obviously every chip he can buy, every chip, right? So Samsung, TSMC, Intel, and now we're going to make our own, right? Yeah. GPUs and chips, whatever. And then he's talking about space AI. And then what I spoke to Brian Wang, and he said that actually, because I was asking him the question, when he does space AI, which is AI data centers in space, who will make the most money? Is it SpaceX or Tesla? And he said, actually, Tesla will make a lot of money because 70% of the cost of a data center is the GPUs, the chips. So Tesla is going to make that. So Tesla makes some money. But yeah, who's going to own it? Maybe.
Yeah,
Sounds like
I don't
Tesla.
see any one of those companies being able to own it on their own. I think it's going to have to be a consortium with the three companies.
Interesting. Okay. And then he actually said this. I'll just sneak this in now. I was going to save it to later, but basically your favorite topic, SpaceX.
So, but I do want to try to figure out some way for Tesla shareholders to participate in SpaceX. That would be very cool. I've been giving a lot of thought to how to give people access to SpaceX stock, because I do want supporters to have SpaceX stock, but there's this sort of 2,500 shareholder threshold for, before you become a de facto public company. But I don't know, maybe at some point maybe at some point SpaceX should become a public company, despite all the downsides of being public.
Whoa, I'm sure you got a lot to say about that.
Yeah, I have the solution. I have the solution to the SpaceX investment and to the XAI investment. I think that he should use Tesla as his sole public vehicle, because now he's in a really good position. So what he should do is exchange Tesla stock for SpaceX stock.
Yeah.
And then he should exchange
Tesla
XAI stock for Tesla stock. What that would give Tesla shareholders and him additional control of additional XAI shares and additional control of Tesla shares and of the SpaceX shares. And then the Tesla stock goes into two companies which he has absolute control of, giving him more control of the Tesla stock. So Tesla will become a vehicle not only for what it manufactures and sells, but also for a holding in SpaceX and Tesla. That will definitely drive value for the Tesla shareholders. I think Tesla stock would rise accordingly, and it would give more stability to XAI and more stability to SpaceX. And then they can come up with reasonable relationships between each other in terms of launching the space data centers.
I love this. This is a great idea. We should do a whole show on this. Have you break it all down and because it's so important. And then maybe we need to communicate this.
Yeah, I'd love to do the numbers. I'll probably engage with CERN so that we come up with a well-structured financial, well-structured financial relationship. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. I think we want to communicate that to Tesla and Elon. But okay, let's step back a bit because the vote that just happened wasn't a clear-cut win for Proposal 7, which is Tesla should advising the board members of Tesla to consider an investment with XAI. And what happened was, yes, it was a win, and more yes votes than less no votes. The problem is that there was a lot of abstention. People didn't vote at all. And in the bylaws of Tesla, the abstention is equivalent to a no vote. And it was the way the question was asked and the way that the board members did not give guidance on what to say there. So in essence, Tesla's board in the 10Q or 8Q, whatever it was, came out and said that this is not enough of a mandate from the shareholders, that this is something that they should do. So we don't know if it passed or not.
Right, it didn't pass, but it doesn't matter. I'll tell you why it doesn't. I'll explain to you.
Ooh, okay.
This was a recommendation from shareholders out of the shareholders' desire to own XAI shares and to resolve the issues of conflict. It wasn't thought through. They didn't say, what the proposal was. They just said, we want you to consider this. And I think the right answer is no. I voted for it, but I think the right answer is no, because that's not how you devise strategy for a company. You have to have a real motivation. You have to have a real business plan. There has to be a strategy behind it, and it has to be thought through, and the stakeholders, not just the shareholders, but all the stakeholders have to be considered, and the strategic plan has to be really thought through. I think the vote was in the right direction. I'd much rather Elon evolve his own considered plan and think it through. And I think there's a lot of reasons that there's a lot of basis for a good plan that involves SpaceX, Look, SpaceX is already a shareholder of XAI. SpaceX is clearly the only means to get data centers into space.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense to, to find a way to put
It's
them
going to
together.
happen. Okay, let's do this. You're right. And that Space AI is the business model, and it's now very clear. Okay. Woo. That is a good show. We're going to wait for that, Larry. So just to wrap up the things that was announced, Cybercab production starting April 2026, this a new Tesla Semi design. Tesla might build that chip fabrication facility, robotaxi service. Now they actually said which cities. They said it's Miami, Dallas, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. Talked more about AI5, Tesla's new lithium refinery. Roadster unveil is now moved instead of the end of this year to April 1st. Partly for fun, which production starts 12 to 18 months later. So it's really just a demo at this point. But here's the big ones. FSD approval in Europe. Oh, this is new. Europe expected in the next quarter as well. And Optimus, as well as China. And then Optimus production line, sneak peek. So any final thoughts on that?
Elon talked about this is a new book. I think this is beyond a new book. I think this is a new encyclopedia. You can't think of a single chapter. There are multiple chapters to this multi-chapter work, master work. And we're going to see these volumes fall, not chapters, volumes, just like they used to deliver. I don't know if you're too young to...
I know, the encyclopedia,
The World Book. The World Book would deliver, one book a year or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we are going to see these books being delivered, these volumes being delivered consecutive years in the coming couple of years. And it is the most exciting roadmap I've ever seen in my life. And we get to actually see it evolve. Yeah. And we've watched the thinking evolving. And it's amazing to see the brightest mind in the single brightest mind in innovation and in building, technology and in delivering technology. That we see this mind at work on this constant basis, and he opens up, and it is just remarkable. I'm glad to be alive, have lived this long.
I'm saying the same thing every day. It's amazing. Watching him in action. Let's listen to what he actually said about the new book thing.
To embark upon is not merely a new chapter of the future of Tesla, but a whole new book. And Optimus is a fundamental part of that. The scale of Optimus, like I said, that's really going to be something else. I think it's going to be the biggest product of all time by far. Like bigger than cell phones, bigger than anything. I guess the way to think about it is that every human on Earth is going to want to have their own personal R2-D2 C-3PO. I think there could be tens of billions of Optimus robots out there. We're going to launch on the fastest production ramp of any product, of any large complex manufactured product ever. And starting with building a 1 million unit production line in Fremont, and then a 10 million unit per year production line here on the... I don't know where we're going to put the 100 million unit production line. Maybe on Mars, I don't know. But I think it's going to literally get to 100 million a year, maybe even 1 billion a year.
I don't know. So that's a lot. Nothing new, right? But still exciting.
Yeah, but think about this. Optimus is going to need constant connectivity. It can't depend upon Wi-Fi and walk from one building to another building and lose connection. So it's going to have this internet from space. To have this internet from space, you really want to be. I mean, if you have your data center up in the sky, then you don't. I mean, functionally, you don't have to have this massive compute in every object, particularly if you've got data centers. If you've got direct communication to that data center, this is the most exciting thing that you can imagine. It is going to I mean, we thought robots were transformative. We thought AI was transformative. But when you think about the whole ecosystem that's being built at this point by this single company, oh my God.
Larry, there's no one better. You are a very special person. You are so with it, and you're so. Tell me more about space, data centers, AI, and you're going to do that next show with us next time. Thank you so much, Larry. Follow him at lumicente.com. Check him out there, and then follow him at Tesla Larry. Thanks, everybody. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.